Hey, Hero fans, this is Todd. So, the figure that I wanted to make out of my Darius figure was I wanted to make basically a Battle Armor King Randor. So, this is my figure that I started with, Darius. Those of you who have collected figures, you know him. And here's the standard King Randor, how he looks when you first get him. King Randor, there he is. And so my goal was to mesh these two together and somehow figure out a way to make a cool Battle Armor King Randor. And here he is. Here's my cool Battle Armor King Randor. Now, it did take a little bit of paint. Obviously, I had to paint his shoulders gold to match the gold because his are kind of bronze in color. And then the boots, I had to find some gold boots to use for him. I believe I used either Bose boots or it might have been, Hope, Light Hope. I'm not sure. Then I made a shield on Shapeways. And if you go to my Shapeways store, you can buy the same shield. It comes in both a regular and an offset. Get the offset one, it works better. Now, the problem I had was the hands. His hands are huge. And so when you put in his regular King Randor weapons like this sword, it's just flopsy-mopsy all over the place. So I was thinking, how can I fix that? How can I make it so the sword works? Now, for the spear, it works no problem because the spear is a bigger shaft, but even for his even for his staff, you can see it's just flopsy in his hand. So originally I used some black heat shrink tubing, which works okay, but I found this heat shrink tubing that's clear on eBay, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. So let's go ahead and try to see if we can fix up these weapons. So let me cut off a piece of this heat shrink tubing. There it is. Let's first try a piece on his sword. Now, you want to kind of stylize it a little bit. You don't want it at the very bottom. His hand goes up higher, so I want it about right there. So you want to make sure it's flat, and then make sure it's about in that spot. And it's easier to take more off, but it's really hard to put more back on. In fact, it's impossible. So always trim a little shy. I kind of like how that fits right there. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. I got my trusty heat gun right here and my pad to protect. Let's go ahead and heat up this heat shrink tubing. Now, I could have gone with black and then painted it gold, but that's kind of a pain to do to get the gold to match just right. And with this clear, then it should just work just fine to show the gold right through and increase the diameter. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. It's still a little hot, so I'm going to wait before I test it out. But that looks like it might work just fine. So, there it is. Shrunk on there. You can still see the gold through it. Let's see how it fits in his hand. And look at that. Now it's a nice, tighter fit, so it won't shake around. All right, let's do the same to his staff. Now, his staff, I could take and put a whole entire piece along here. But really, when he hangs on to it, he only hangs on towards the upper half. So just like maybe this section right here. So that's all I'm going to heat shrink, is just that section right there, because that's where you'd hang on to it if he was doing this. That way you don't waste too much heat shrink tubing and kind of stylize it with the staff the way it looks. So I'm going to go and get another piece of my heat shrink tubing out. All right, so I cut off a piece. Let's see how that looks for the length. Oh, I should have gone with the larger diameter one. Before I stuff it on there, let's take it back off. Let's just see how it is for length. It is a little bit too long. Let's just go and cut this a little shorter. I'm just going to try to stuff it on so I can get it past this little piece right here. Sometimes things work just fine. And look at that. A little bit of finagling. And there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and heat that up as well. Now the heat gun is 2 settings, a low and a high. You want them in the high setting for doing heat shrink tubing. This guy actually came out better than the sword. Look at that. All right, let's let that cool for a minute. Now, when it comes to Darius, when you start customizing figures, he has this really cool feature. Oh, hey, Christopher, doing good? And the feature he has is removable helmet. That is so cool. I really like that feature a lot. Now, when we got our NA He-Man, they gave us this helmeted head right here, which of course is not a removable helmet. You have to keep swapping the head. I thought, you know what? I could probably use this helmet on other figures. So let's check this out. I actually created a helmet for this figure right here. And what I did was I carved out the inside a little bit. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me adjust my lighting to fit his crazy hair in the front of his head. And then I painted it gold. And voila. There we have a removable helmet. Now, for those that don't know, the original NA He-Man, here he is right here, he had a removable helmet. So the New Adventures He-Man originally had this removable helmet, kind of a fun feature when you're a kid. So I wanted to kind of copy that. And I thought, you know what? I could take us a step further. I could use that same removable helmet and paint it silver and make a New Adventures hero, He-Man son. Again, I sanded out the inside in order to match his crazy hairdo the way that the bangs are. And then I just painted it the outside silver. You don't want to paint the insides. You don't want to get stuck on the hair. And there you go. Now I got a silver helmet, and I've also swapped out his boots with Bo's boots to give him more of a New Adventures look. And I swapped out his arms with Bo's arms too to give him the New Adventures look. So now he's dressed in New Adventures armor too. And then I took it a step further, and for those who watched this video in the past, I actually made a helmet for this guy too. And again, just painted it gold. I didn't have to do much sanding because his head's already shaped like it's made for a helmet, even though they never gave him one, the original toy. But it works pretty good for that as well. Just painted it gold on the outside, and it fits right on there. How cool was that? All right, let's see how that staff fits in his hands. Now there's probably cool down. And I could feel some drag on there, and he holds it just fine. And look at that. It doesn't look too odd or awkward. Put his sword in his other hand. And there we go. He is ready for battle. Now when it comes to this clear heat shrink tubing, what's really cool is this sword that came with Lord Mask. Originally, it had a very small handle, and it did not fit in these large hands also. I painted it with gold, or not gold, with the glow-in-the-dark paint, so it could glow in the dark, including the handle, and then I added the clear heat shrink tubing to the bottom, so now it fits in his hand without shaking around or being loose. So again, if you were to use black, you can't paint the black clear. So the clear heat shrink tubing is just awesome the way it's worked out. So there you guys go. There's all my customs that I've messed around with Darius using the clear heat shrink tubing. If you have any questions, post them below. And check out my new video I just posted. I just am in the middle of posting a series of videos. Watch the compilation. That's the one that has all of the DC Rebirth figures to make the Lex Luthor. I do have them broken down. If you just want to see Wonder Woman and that's it, I have that one as well. Or just the Ray, or just the Batman, or whatever one you want to see. I have those individually posted as well. But if you want to watch the whole thing, it is long. It's 32 minutes. Sorry, not trying to make it painful, but you can fast forward past certain parts. And I did put a title screen between each figure, so if you fast forward, you can find those title spots quicker. All right, thanks for watching, you guys. Again, I still have some more videos coming up in the near future. I'm going to work on an Evil Lynn. What is it? Basically, her life story, how she became Evil Lynn, using 2000X cartoons to make that. So be on the watch for that. And then I'm also going to still make that Ice Armor He-Man custom on video here as well. All right. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys next video.